Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So let's commence today's class. So yeah, I'll just share my screen. Okay, um, so let us continue. So last class we discussed some of the issues around hyperplanes, geometry of hyperplanes, and things like that. So this is an important prerequisite. Okay, so you will find that these are very important concepts that come everywhere. So that's why we dedicated a class for this. So now you will see we will build up on this and we will look at new techniques which uses these things. Okay. So you would have seen that I have made an announcement for a project. So project is a like your assignment is a group activity. So there are several themes. So you have to choose one among the theme. Okay, one among the theme. Okay. So in the document, I have listed 9 themes. You have to choose one among the theme. So what you need to do is, once the theme you like, you choose, you need to tell me that this is the theme you are choosing. And if there are multiple groups choosing the same theme, then I may decide to only let one of them do. So allocation based on early request. Okay, allocation is like first come first serve, like that policy will follow. And once the theme has been on an approved theme, uh, so what you need to do in an approved theme is you need to, I got some, okay. So on an approved theme, you need to understand the theory. So every group member is expected to understand the theory and then choose an interesting application. Okay, choose an application. Some things like there are some project topics which don't have very strong application tied to it, and I will let you know if you don't have to do one of these, but you need to do some kind of experiment to demonstrate these things, and I will have a viva, individual viva will be conducted, okay, to give marks. So since there are these topics are very useful in practical thing, the industry uses these things very well. I will also allow you to learn themes in your semester break. If you want to learn any of those things, then you can do that during your semester break. Okay, so I think this is about the project. So yeah, all of you please go through it and let me know if you have any questions. So then the midterm is approaching. So I am planning to, so cancel a few classes next week so that you can learn midterm. So for the midterm, you can prepare well. So few classes will be cancelled. So I will let you know. Okay, so we will announce to be announced. Okay, I will announce this when is these things thing, and we will also have a doubt clearing session like a tutorial class instead. So if you have any doubts, you must mail me ahead of time so that the tutorial class can be used to really clear these things. So please do that over the weekend. Yeah, doubts to be emailed. So one of these classes that I'm going to cancel, I will use it this way. So as usual, this means that we will have to have few classes as special class. So every Saturday after the midterm, we will continue having like Saturday classes with attendance optional. And then again during the finals, I will cancel a few classes towards the end. So that will help you balance and prepare well. Okay. So yeah. So any questions about these logistics? Okay, so let's continue on the topic. So we were discussing discriminant based classifiers. Okay, so we saw what we began our class, this whole course we began with Bayes classification, and that is one approach. So that belongs to generative based classifiers. Okay, now we are going to go to discriminant function based classifier. Okay, and then in particular, we will look at linear models. And under linear models, even though it's a discriminant function is only for classifier, we will also look at classifiers anyway. We'll also look at regression problems. Okay, we will define these terms when we are discussing it. So this is what we will do before the midterm. Okay, so yeah, you will see several types of classifier. You will see perceptron. You will see a regression-based classifier.
Logistic regression.
Yeah, and then you will look at logistic regression. Okay. So these are the things that you will see here, and yeah, then we will discuss some of the issues of regularization. Okay. And we will also see some probabilistic interpretation. So these topics that we are going to cover is picked up from Bishop, it is picked up from Dudahart, and also it is picked up from lectures of Shastri, P.S. Shastri. So these things, anyway, those details you have already. Any case, so let us commence our discussion, and we will start with the perceptron first. Okay. So that's where we will start. So before even going to perceptron, let us recall what we meant by discriminant function based classifiers. Okay, so this we had discussed sometime, but let's recall. So what you have is like if you have a classifier which reports 1, if some function g of x is greater than 0, okay, and 0 otherwise, this is called a discriminant function based classifier. This is a discriminant function based classifier. Okay, and your g of x is now in case of Bayes classifier, right? For Bayes classifier, if you consider the Bayes classifier that was built out of 0-1 loss function, then what we had done, if you recollect, we had reported 1 if Q1 was bigger than Q0, or in other words, Q1 of x minus Q0 of x is greater than 0. Okay, so this is what we had done for Bayes classifier. So in terms of the definition, Bayes classifier also, you can think it like a discriminant function based classifier, where you are specifically using Bayes rule to compute the function. Okay, so now this is a discriminant function based classifier, and the first that we will take is linear discriminant function. So that is what we will begin with. Okay, so of all the choices that we have for classifier, we will choose linear discriminant function, and let me define what that is. Okay, so what we will do is this particular g of x that is here, we will have two parameters that we would like. It will be a function of two things. One is weight vectors w and x, which is your feature vector, and this is defined as summation over I equal to 1 to d wi xi plus w naught. Okay, so now what is xi? Xi's are individual features. Okay, so if you consider your bank fraud example, right? So example, this could be like tax pay date, right? That's what we had begun our entire discussion with. Or it can have like property ownership. Okay, then like job designation. Okay. Then some such things. So bank fraud, it may be spouse employment. So these are all could be individual features. So there are a collection of D features. So what I mean to say is X, the vector X that is here, it has D features, X1, X2, and XD. Okay. So typically every feature we write it as a column vector, and the way to write that is this T here is the transpose. Okay. So if you apply the transpose operator on a vector which is like this, which is like a row, it will become like a column vector. Okay. So this is some notation. Okay. So throughout this discussion in machine learning, there is a lot of inconsistent notations that you will get depending upon which textbook you see, which lecture you see, and all these things. Okay, so what is important is you understand the concept and not really get confused by the notation. All right, so now if this is our classifier, so then what we can understand is h of x is equal to 1 if summation I equal to 1 to d wi xi plus w naught is greater than 0. Okay, and 0 otherwise. So this is called as a linear discriminant function, okay, and based classifier. All right. So this is a linear classifier. Now, if you see this, this is actually. So now, how do you find W? So how to find W? That is one of the issues. Okay. And then, what is the classifier doing? What is the classifier doing? So these are some of the questions that we will answer now. So now in terms of notations, right? So what we do, so if you see, it is called a linear classifier because this is, in this particular example, this is linear in W, right? And also it is linear in X, okay? And even though it is linear in W and in linear in X, what we are interested is this. We want our classifier to be linear in W. Only then we will say that the classifier is a linear classifier. Okay. So for instance, if we were to do this following transformation, okay. So suppose if you create new features, suppose you have new features, phi I of X, which is equal, phi I of X. Okay, and for I equal to 1 and some other d prime, suppose if you create this, and if I write my linear classifier based on that, which is like summation this, okay. If summation wi phi I of x plus w naught greater than 0, 0 otherwise, this is still considered as a linear classifier. This is still linear classifier. Okay. So because it is linear in W. Okay. So that is what is the linear thing that is coming in here. Okay. So in terms of notations, so there is one thing that we do when we write linear classifiers. What we also do notation wise, we actually do what is called as feature augmentation. Okay, so we do some kind of a augmentation where we introduce an extra feature like this. So we will take x, what was x before, we will call it as x tilde, which has all the original features, x1, x2, all the way till xd, and we will also have a 1. Okay. So now what that allows us is that your W that you are going to be learned, you are trying to learn, will have W0, W1, W2, all these things up till WD. And now your classifier, linear classifier that you have considered, will have a simplification that you will have this as a much elegant form like this. Okay. So basically, this allows us for discussing this in a easier way. Okay. So that is the reason why we have this feature augmentation. Okay, so there are, in summary, what we have done is we are trying to now focus our attention to classifiers which have this kind of a linear discriminant functions and which are going to classify based on this. And we still have to answer how to find W, but we also understand that the linearity is important in W. Okay, so you can create your own features, which is phi I of x. We'll see some examples and what benefits it will give you soon. So this is one thing that we saw, and we also saw notation wise, sometimes we will have an spurious feature called as 1. This allows us for some things that otherwise would be complicated. So this will make it a simple looking thing. Okay, so amongst all the classifiers that we have, the first thing that we will do is what is called as a perceptron. Okay, so let us, before we even do perceptron, let us try to understand where this classifier will be useful. Okay, so those perceptron will be useful if the data is linearly separable. Okay, so which means if you consider your examples, right? So let us say there are two features, x1 and x2. There are two features, and let us mark the features in the Cartesian thing. So let us say all the blue ones are feature 0. So this is feature 0, and these are all classes. These are all the features for class 1. Okay. Now a linear classifier is linear separable problem. Linearly separable data is one where you can actually have a hyperplane that separates it. So let me choose a different color. What we are saying is there exists a hyperplane such that you can separate the two. Okay, so a linearly separable training set or linearly separable data is one where x transpose W star, okay, is greater than 0 if, okay, the particular sample that I'm interested in, which is yi, is 1. So basically, what is my data? You have xi, which is ith feature, and yi, which is the label associated with it, I going from 1 to small n. A linearly separable training set or a linearly separable data is one where all the positive classifiers will lie on one side of the hyperplane, and all the negative features will lie on the other side, where W star is the hyperplane that separates the two. Okay. So now, since if you consider here, this is the usual notation. Okay, but in terms of augmented feature, if I have to write, what it means is, in terms of augmented features, even though it's the x are having multiple dimension, and I have just written a 2-dimension just as a representation. So in case of augmented feature, what will happen is your classifier will pass through your separable data will pass through the origin. This is the same problem, but I am writing it in terms of the augmented features, which means I have added like here, no? If you recollect what is meant by augmented feature vector, what we have done is we have added a 1, right? Where did we do that?
Down, sir.
Yeah, so we have added a 1 here. So basically now it has become greater than 0. Okay, so this is I should make it clear. W star plus W naught star is greater than 0 plus W naught star. Okay, this is for non-augmented data, but with augmented feature, this is what it is. Okay, so here we are saying xi tilde transpose W star is greater than 0 if yi is equal to 1, and xi tilde transpose W star is less than 0 if yi equal to 0. If this happens, then we say we are in linearly separable data. So we are in linearly separable space. Is that okay? Does everybody understand the difference why this doesn't pass through the origin and why this passes through the origin?
We just move the axis, right, sir?
Yeah, I just moved the axis because see, first thing is like, even though since we are in this two-dimensional, we have a restriction. Even though there are multiple dimensions, I have just represented only two of them, and without the augmentation, then there will be a line which need not necessarily pass through origin. And I'm saying these are all easy things. So I'm just saying that when you have augmented feature, then we are necessarily saying that it is passing through the origin. It is just simple things, just trying to make the distinction clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Does anyone
Sir,
else
I
have
didn't
any?
fully understand it because in the lower figure we are working in 3 dimensions, no, because of the extra dimension.
Yes. So that is why I was telling you that I cannot draw all the dimensions here. Okay, good. So here the number of dimensions was d, even though I have drawn only 2. Here the number of dimensions is d plus 1. Okay. Does that make sense? Who asked me this question?
Sir, I asked it. Yes, sir. That is fine that it's d plus 1, but then I didn't understand your 2D representation of 3D.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that we will do many times. So for instance, if you remember in EM discussion, right, I took theta on this axis and then I wrote p of x given theta, right? So log of p of x given theta, and I drew some function like this, and I said, if you remember that this is how, and then we take a maximum. This we discussed. But theta, if you see, it is not really one dimension. There are multiple dimensions, right? So what we do is we draw a schematic as though theta is one dimension. There are multiple dimensions. We are just showing, since for like to explain in class, we are just drawing a small section of that. There are many more dimensions which I cannot draw in the sheet here. If you want, I will add a 3 dimension, but that's not going to help.
Yes, sir, I understood, sir.
Yeah. It's good to get these things clarified because a lot of people will have these things. Okay, so any questions that you have in this, please feel free to ask. Okay, so these are all what we have said is quite kind of easy things. And one thing to note, okay, so if there is one separating hyperplane between these points, there will be multiple, right? That is immediately obvious. So you can have multiple such things. This is one more. This could be another, right? So given if there is one, if linearly separable data has one, there will be many such things. Okay, because this is strict. So there will be many such things. Okay, so now what is the objective? So what does perceptron try to do? So perceptron is one of the earliest machine learning algorithms. The purpose of it is to, in a linearly separable data, so it works with the assumption that the data is linearly separable. Perceptron algorithm finds one hyperplane which separates the data, finds one hyperplane to separate the data. Okay. So why are we studying perceptron? There are several reasons. Perceptron, though it is a very early model, it is a simple model which will help you understand the idea of a learning algorithm. That is one reason number one why we are studying perceptron. Secondly, perceptron also forms it's a component in your neural network. So this will be used when you are learning neural network. This will be one of your elements there. Okay, so that is why we are learning perceptron. And reason number 3 is that if we are able to reach VC dimensions, perceptron is a very useful algorithm to understand the complexity, what is meant by VC dimension, what is meant by power of a hypothesis. All these things we will get to know when we learn perceptron. So there are multiple reasons why we are studying. It is not just it is historically important, but it is also practically and important to even study this. Okay, so that's the reason why we are starting with perceptron. So what is the thing? So what we have is data which is linearly separable. What the algorithm tries to do is tries to arrive at one particular hyperplane that separates the data. Okay, so let's now describe the perceptron algorithm in this way. Okay. So, initialize. So this is the perceptron. Okay, so initialize W0 randomly. Okay, then you have a loop. So you are going to loop till data is separated. What does that mean? It means that W transpose this, basically you want to find WK, okay, in the kth iteration, if WK transpose X is greater than 0, if Yi is equal to 1 and WK transpose X is less than 0. Okay, so this is for the sample, if Yi is equal to 0. Okay, so if you are able to do this for all I, okay, with one of, yeah, if you are able to do this for all I am going to, we are saying that the data is actually separated. If that doesn't happen, then we have to do something. What do you do? So if this is not happening, then what it means is that there exists, okay, so this is a symbol for saying there exists some xk, okay, which is not separated, okay, which means either two things can happen. Okay, what is that? One is yk is equal to 1, but, okay, case 1, yk is equal to 1, but wk transpose xk, okay, is less than 0. This can happen. Or you can have case 2 where yk is equal to 0, but wk transpose xk is greater than 0. Okay, so these are the ways in which the separable it is not happening properly, right? So either okay, so let's try to understand this properly. So what you start with is a random guess. You pick a W randomly, okay, and then you check whether that particular W is separating all your data nicely. Okay, so what does that mean? If this happens, right? So this we had a whole discussion the other day. So greater than 0 means this is my W. Greater than 0 means it makes an acute angle with these red points, and it makes obtuse angle with the blue points, right? That is what W transpose something means, correct? So if it is correctly separating, all the red ones should be on one side, all the blue ones should be on the other side, or they should be positive, they should be negative. Okay, so at a particular iteration, so loop, so your the loop variable is k. K is loop variable. Now, if at some point the loop is not terminated, that means that there exists some training point x. Okay, some at the kth, there must be some training point x which is not separated well, which means either one of the two should happen. All right, is this okay? So then what we will do is we will have some kind of an update. Whenever there is a thing like this happening, we will have a small delta. Okay, we will have a delta wk, which is equal to, in the case where this happens, okay, in this case our update will be xk. Okay, in the second case our update will be minus xk. So do you understand? So this is our update, and once in the last statement, what we are going to do is we are going to say wk plus 1 is equal to wk plus delta wk. Okay, so what is it going on in summary? So if you are not able to separate data, you are going to make some change to your estimate for w. Okay, and then that should help. In some way that should help. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So let's try to understand how this algorithm works. First, what is it doing? And then whether it will really converge or not is the question. and we will see all of these details soon. Okay, is there any question as to the algorithm itself? Does anyone have any questions here?
Sir, I just have a notational doubt.
Yeah.
That X bracket K means the kth sample, right?
It is, yeah, no,
X
it is not.
subscript K.
No. X subscript K means kth sample. Okay, this means kth sample. Okay. Whereas XK means the misclassified training data. Okay, at the kth iteration.
So the first sample that we come across.
Yeah, exactly. Whichever is the first that you come across, you take that as your XK. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is again a good question, but unfortunately, I don't know how to make it simple. But it's important that you get this doubts clarified. Okay, any other questions here? Okay, so let us try to understand how this might actually be doing the right thing. So first thing, suppose let's try to, I will write here to explain this. So now after this, right? So what is WK plus 1? So here WK plus 1 is equal to WK plus XK, right? This is what it is. Now, what is WK plus 1 transpose XK? See, this WK transpose XK is less than 0. This was not good. But is this actually becoming any better or not? So that is equal to WK transpose XK plus XK transpose XK. So we know that this is this number is less than 0. Okay, 0 is bigger than this number. But is this entire thing? Is this question is this greater than 0? What do you think? See, there was a problem in the kth iteration. XK was not classified correctly. So what we did is we made an update to your weight vectors. We added an XK to it. Now the question is, after having done this correction, it should actually be doing the classification, at least for the previous point, it should do it correctly, right? Is that happening? That's my question. Yes?
No, sir, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Yes, not necessarily. Because one thing we notice, okay, everyone can see that XK transpose XK, this is equal to norm of XK squared, right? So this is a positive number. So that means I am trying to make some correction. This was negative and I'm trying to add a positive number here. I'm trying to improve it, and in the hope that it will actually do make it bigger than 0, but this is not necessary, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, sir.
So now likewise, let us argue about the other case. Okay, so just to make the things complete, let's look at the other case. So in this case, what's happening? So WK plus 1, okay, is going to be WK minus XK, right? So therefore, WK plus 1 transpose XK, the point that was actually misclassified, this is going to be WK transpose XK minus XK transpose XK. So that is nothing but norm of XK square. Okay, so this is a point which was misclassified in this case when it is actually not a YK0. This number was positive. So basically you can see that the perceptron update steps is actually making this number smaller when you are in case 2, and it is making it bigger in case 1. Okay, so it's a very remarkably simple algorithm, and one of the results that we have, which we are going to assume without proof. Okay, one of the results that we have is perceptron algorithm converges for linearly separable data. Okay, so this is a little bit remarkable result because for two reasons, right? One is linearly separable data. Okay, so this result we are not going to prove. Okay, this is omitted, but what I am saying is this is remarkable. Why? Why is this remarkable? Can someone tell me? There are two reasons I am saying, at least the two reasons that I can identify. Can someone, so there was one here, right? So by doing this update, I'm not even sure whether XK is correctly classified, right? It is doing a step in the right direction, but it need not necessarily have corrected for at least XK. Okay, so that is reason number one. Okay, no guarantee. Okay, I have very bad, okay, so no guarantee that WK plus 1 correctly places XK. This also I don't have any guarantee. That is all. Even though I'm doing an update here with the weight, I still don't have a guarantee that XK is now going to be correctly placed with WK plus 1. The second problem that I'm having is WK plus 1 might misclassify points that WK actually did correctly. Are the 2 points
could
clear?
you elaborate on the second point?
Yeah. So I will let you know.
Misclassified?
Yes. So we can look at some examples. So basically, since we are not looking at the entire data at the update step, what we are doing is we are looking at one data at a time. Okay. So when you are doing a locally, we are doing a correction, this might very well happen, and we can see some examples to really show. Okay, because I am not making any check, right, Rohit? See, I'm not making any check. Once I do this update, I'm not seeing whether how many points are being correctly classified, how many are not being correctly classified. Okay, so this is not immediately clear whether this will actually correctly classify which points previously was not, right? That's the intuition. See, previously some point might have been on the boundary. Okay, suppose some point there was some other point, let's say X, which was just on near 0, and now I reduce this X, this whole thing might bring it down, right? So anyway, we will try to see if we can construct an example, but before that, yeah, since we are doing local updates, this is not obvious. We will see an example if possible how this might actually happen. Okay, so yeah, let's try to get a geometric intuition as to what exactly is happening, and then let's see whether we can elaborate on 1 and 2 a little bit more. Okay, so we will come to why these 2 points are important, but are there any questions here till here? Let me just quickly check with the class. Can I have a quick poll if everything is clear so far?
Everything clear, sir. And also I figured out the second point.
Okay. All right, so that's good. So now let's try to understand the geometry, and let's try to see if we can get some examples on this. Okay, so let's start that. So geometric intuition. So let us take a particular example where these things are happening. So let us take a few points which are here. So these are all one class. Okay. And let us say these are all another one. So let us choose a hyperplane which is not classifying all the points correctly. So let us choose an hyperplane properly. So it's passing through the origin, okay? So this is your W. So now one point is misclassified. This is the point that is misclassified. So so what I'm these are these red ones are these are features with the label is yi is equal to 1. Okay, the other ones, these are with label yi equal to 0. So what do you have here? Okay, so what is suppose this is let's call this as xk. So let's this is so hard. Okay, yeah, so this is, let us say this is xk. Okay, so can someone tell me, this is, let's say, wk. What is wk transpose xk? What is this? Is that number bigger than 0 or less than 0?
Less than 0.
Yes, it's less than 0. And the reason is straightforward, because this is an obtuse angle and it is in the other side of the hyperplane. All the points on this side is greater than 0. Okay, so what are we doing? Wk plus 1 is equal to wk plus xk. Okay, so this is what is the update that we are doing. So what does that mean in terms of geometry if I were to draw? So so this is one of the points. So if I draw the parallelogram, okay, that's how we add vectors, remember? So if you do this properly, so basically I'm adding wk and xk, right? So that means my new wk plus 1 will be this vector. Okay, so this is what is the update. So this is my wk plus 1, which means my original hyperplane, what was there before, has now shifted to something like this. Right? Yeah, so this is roughly 90 degree. So now what was just misclassifying one point is now misclassifying several points. So these are now the new misclassified points. Okay, so this is an example where you can see clearly number 2. Right, you might actually end up misclassifying a whole set of new bunch of points, but at least we, in this particular example, we are now correctly classifying xk, at least is now classified correctly. All right, so do you understand the geometric intuition, everybody? Are there any questions here? Okay. So let's now discuss some other implementation issues which are going to be important when we do other learning algorithms also. So let's do that now. Okay, so now, so for perceptron, so let us discuss a modified perceptron algorithm, a little bit, a small change which will make our life a little bit more easier. So what we are going to do is we are going to have our initialization step. Okay, so this, see, what is a algorithm? What is a learning algorithm? So the objective of the learning algorithm here in the perceptron case is basically to come up with a W that separates all the data. And what are you going to do with that W? Whenever you see some new whenever you see some new data, when you deploy this in practice, whenever you see some new customer, for example, you are going to use this perceptron, whatever output you had, you are going to use and see whether this can, you are going to predict basically, right? So that's the reason. So the output of a learning algorithm is W star, okay? And in deployment, okay, this is also called as testing phase. What you do is you do W star transpose X, okay? And if it is greater than 0, you predict yi equal to 1. Okay, and if w star transpose x is less than 0, you predict yi equal to 0. So this is how a learning algorithm works. First, you must have a perceptron learning algorithm which gives you w star. And once you have this w star, this is how you use it in practice. Now, what we are saying is we are going to modify the learning component of the perceptron a little bit so that that's going to help us in the analysis of this algorithm. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to have an initialization step. So xi is going to be set to, so this xi is going to be set to minus xi if yi is equal to 0. Okay. So this is the initialization step. I'm going to reflect every point that is of class 0, and I'm going to reflect it about the origin. I'm going to make it minus xi. Okay. This is a useful update. What happens is if I draw this thing, let us try to understand what this step is actually doing. So this is your original perceptron, okay, and this is your modified one. So this particular step is useful for the analysis. It is not so much as useful for actually when you write this algorithm. This is only for analysis that it is useful. Okay, so let us take a bunch of points. All the positive points are here. And your negative points, let us say, are in the third quadrant. All of them are here. Okay, so when I take these points and reflect it about the, like symmetrically, if I reflect it, right, that means from this quadrant, they are going to move to this quadrant. What ends up happening is you have all the points are lying in one thing, right? So your positive points are also there, your negative points are also there. Okay, and then your so this was your original hyperplane, what you learnt from your original perceptron. This was your hyperplane, right? So this is what you learnt. So that will now become in such a way that all the points will be in the one side of the hyperplane. Okay, so here what we required was we needed w star transpose xi to be greater than 0 if yi is equal to 1, and then we needed w star transpose, okay, there is a transpose here, xi is less than 0 if wi is equal to 0. This is what we needed here. In the modified algorithm, what we will need is w star transpose xi should be greater than 0 for all xi comma yi. So this kind of simplifies our discussion. So do you understand what we did? This is for the purposes of making our algorithm a little bit more simpler. Okay. So how does this change our algorithm? So let us see what are all the original steps. So this was chosen randomly. So that will continue to be the same. Okay. So let's write that. W0 is chosen randomly. Okay. Now our loop was looking at whether are you able to separate or not. Now what we are going to look at is if all points are on the one side of the hyperplane or not. So our loop will be loop till all points are on one side of the hyperplane, which means xi w, sorry, let's write that. What does that mean? So this means xk transpose, I'm so sorry, I have to write this in this way. So wk transpose xi is greater than or equal to 0 for all I. So this is what we want. Okay, let's keep it greater than 0 only. So we were going to loop till all points are this. Okay, if not, if this is not ending, that means there exists an xk such that wk transpose xk is less than 0. right? Right? That's why this has come. So my update is very simple. Wk plus 1, okay, is equal to Wk plus Xk. That's it. So now if I take Wk plus 1 transpose Xk, you will see that we are adding a positive component, and hopefully this will correctly put all the points on one side of the hyperplane. So that is the motivation of this modified algorithm. Okay. So is this clear? So we will see why we brought this modified algorithm soon, but are there any questions so far? So is there, do you have, anybody has a class after this?
The MTech students do, sir.
Okay.
HS 600 by Shabia ma'am.
Okay. So I wanted to do a few more things and finish this, but I guess we will have to continue this tomorrow. But anyway, let's just continue. So yeah. All right. It's so let's just check if so far everything is clear. Can I quickly see if everyone follows this?
Yes, sir.
Why is it that people are so silent today? Is it too easy or too difficult? What's going on? I haven't heard anything from the UG students.
Sir.
Yeah.
In this
Siddharth.
modified.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, Siddharth, I couldn't hear you. Can you tell again?
Yeah, Rajneesh can ask first.
Yeah, Rajneesh, please.
sir, in this modified one, if W0 is randomly initialized,
Yes.
then if by chance they are initialized to be a heavy negative,
Yes.
so that anyway will converge the loop there. We won't get any good hyperplane there.
No. Even if it is chosen such that all the components are negative, okay. Slowly, it will correctly get updated, right?
If it is highly negative, suppose W0s are chosen such that all these. No, I got the point.
Yeah. So that's why it's a surprising algorithm. Why it should even work, right? See, we could have discussed it, but since this is, I want to teach you something more interesting, so I won't discuss the proof of it, but you can see it is available in DudaHeart. But let's not go there, but let's try to keep things at least intuitively clear. Okay, so Rajneesh, I think, has got, what about Siddharth? You had some question?
Sir, I just wanted to know once more about XKs. I think it's not still clear to me.
Okay, so again, notation is what you're asking. So let us try to make this very clear. So perhaps it's a good thing that you're asking this. We can then just discuss this and stop for today, and tomorrow we can pick up from here. Okay, so basically we have two or three things that are involving X. Okay, so first let's look at where and all X appears. First is X as without anything, we write it as X1 to XD. This is to represent that these are the D dimensions of a feature. Okay, these are the D dimensions, and then we looked at an augmented version of it where we added a 1. Now what we are saying is each feature, whether it is augmented or not augmented, okay, there will be some n training samples. These are your training samples. Okay, when we put something as a subscript, this is a training sample, ith training sample. So this is the ith training sample. All right. So this is what is when I write I in the subscript. Now, when we come to the perceptron algorithm, we have an XK here as well. Okay. So what this is saying is, in the kth iteration, since we are doing the kth iteration, there must be the case that the data is not separable, right? It has not gotten separated yet. So whichever is the point which is not separated, okay, there exists an XK which is not separated. Okay, it is not, this is not same as, so XK is not X subscript K. Okay, it is not that. It is basically in the kth iteration, whichever point was not correctly separated, that I am calling it as XK. Siddharth, does that make sense?
Sir, so how are we making the update then? Because
Yeah, so in the loop, I'm going to check if all the points are correctly separated or not. In the original perceptron algorithm, I'm going to check. And how do I check? I take whatever W I have. I will check with every single point whether they are correctly classified like this or not. So suppose one point comes in which is not incorrectly classified. It's not properly put in this separating things. So that point I'm going to call it as XK. Is that okay so far?
Okay. So as soon as we encounter one point, then we update
Yes.
and go to the next iteration.
Yes. We just take that as our delta. Depending upon which type of error it is, we take that as XK, and then we update our weights like this. So does that make sense? Yeah. And now with this, did you follow this intuition? What happened here? We are
Yes, I
trying
have
to
followed all that.
Yeah. So now what we are saying is instead of looking at this straightforward perceptron algorithm, I will take all the 0 samples and I will reflect it I will make it minus xi. So I will reflect it along this. This is, don't misunderstand. It is just that whatever is coming here, we are swapping the signs. So if there was something here, if I swap the signs, it will come here. So it's just a reflection. Okay, you have to see the which plane is actually doing it. But all the xi's I will make it as minus xi. That is the point. Okay. So yeah. So what that does is it will put all the cloud of points. These are two separate clouds of point. But once you modify it, it puts all the clouds of points here. So this is something that is done in the learning algorithm. While you are deploying, you don't know what you are supposed to do, right? So there you will just use the same strategy. Okay. Is that clear? So I hope both these points are clear. Let me just stop here, and tomorrow we will continue from this point. Okay. So I will be around if there are any questions. Otherwise, we will stop here. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.